Hi Sag, thank you for joining me for your December 2017 Astro Tarot forecast. Happy birthday, happy solar return, and happy holidays. There's a lot going on this month, and I'm shuffling the new Palladini Tarot by David Palladini, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite decks. Here's the back, which is infinity symbols, but they're also looking like Ouroboros. It's just an amazing concept that we're all full circle here. So, I'll shuffle these for the whole reading and just wanted to let you know if you like to book with me, I'm continuing a special that I started in October. If you book a 60 or 90-minute session with me, you will receive, and that's until the 24th of November, you'll receive a 10 free-minute additional reading that you can either apply to that reading or you can use anytime by the end of the year. So, this is all about you this month. Starting on the 1st of December, Venus enters your first house of self. Please watch your ascendant, your moon, your rising sign, and your moon sign, in addition to your sun sign for a full scope, because Venus is attraction and beauty and love, and she's also money and influences our income. She gets that from the Taurus energy that she governs. But in your first house, you are attractive, you are attracting the right people, and romance is available for single Sagittarius. So please get out, be available to receive in the month of December. On the 3rd, we start our retrograde. Mercury will retrograde in your first house, so heads up. On the 3rd, at 29 degrees, just almost making it out of your sector, Mercury decides to retrograde. It's going to go back to the 11-degree mark of Sagittarius through the 22nd of December. And this is your review. It is time to put the brakes on taking action very strongly in all areas of your life, especially when it comes to the body. This is not a time for plastic surgery. This is not a time for surgery if you can put this off. Mercury retrograde in general will cause glitches with devices, small technologies, delays, satellites, and scheduling. But he's going to retrograde and cross over Saturn and the tail end of Saturn's influence in your first house. You're getting ready to have that planet go goodbye, and then you won't see him for 30 years. So that's going to be good times. He's been thoroughly reviewing Sagittarius since the 17th of December of 2014. So he'll be getting ready to leave this month, but before he does, Mercury's going to cross over this planet, and I feel like there's a final limitation, some kind of restriction that Sag has to deal with. Now, how you react to it is another thing. This is meant to, I think it's almost like this energy wants to get a reaction out of you, but I would not communicate too much. Really assess what's coming out of your mouth and only say what is absolutely meant to be said, and be clear as possible with this retrograde crossing over Saturn in the first house. Venus is there to help smooth this over, but she can only do so much, baby. This is like, this is a lot of energy here, and for Sag, and Sag rising especially, this has been your Saturn return. And it will apply differently to everyone. Please watch your bones, knees, okay. Capricorn influences are, and I'm saying Capricorn because Saturn governs Capricorn, and this energy in the first house of your body could influence teeth, knees, hips, feet, ankles, and the spine, because those are Saturn/Capricorn energies and positions on the body that trigger that planet, and that planet affects and governs. So having that in the first house in this retrograde, please watch when you're running, use ankle supports. If you have previous injuries, tend to them. Don't just go full speed ahead. You could re-trigger some kind of problem here. And you might find an annoying dental visit coming through for Sagittarius. On the 3rd, we have the same day that Mercury retrogrades, we have our full moon at 11 degrees of Gemini. And this is the awareness in the 7th house of relationships, partnerships, marriage, business partnerships. Some Sagittarians are putting an end or closing the door on their marriage. Some Sagittariuses have been through such a Saturn return that at the end of this, you're realizing I'm no longer going to be married. It could be that severe. And this full moon is the illuminating area of this sector in the marriage that you might see something that is just the final straw that broke the camel's back here, is what I'm getting. Now, that might not apply to all of you. I don't think every Capricorn, or I'm sorry, every Sagittarius is getting divorced, but some of you are. And some of you have realized this after your Saturn returns. So it's very powerful energy. Some of you are ending business partnerships too. You're no longer needing the help or the assistance. You're wanting to do something more independent. On the 9th of December, Mars enters Scorpio. I don't mind this. This is the 12th house where Jupiter is. So Mars conjunct Jupiter is a catalyst energy of expansion in a sector that governs your psychic ability and your mind and the quiet way you think and the subconscious. So, and dream life, dream premonition, interpretation, the house of addictions and release and what isn't serving you. You could be inspired to quit smoking in a big way going into next year. You know, people make their resolutions on the 1st of January, although it's probably best to do that on your new moon of the year, but people just go by the calendar that they were given. This is the time for Sag to consider releasing old habits because of a new moon at 26 degrees on the 18th in Sagittarius. You could start fresh. You could start a new pattern for yourself. And like I was saying, Mars in the 12th house conjunct Jupiter can assist in release of negative habits, negative patterned thinking in a big way. You would benefit very much so from hypnosis or hypnotherapy as a form of how you release these habits because of the 12th house of the subconscious mind being triggered by Mars so much. Jupiter there, luck with this, having luck in this release of habit. So consider that. If it's something that's a monkey on your back for a few years, this would be a beautiful time where this energy could assist you, where it wouldn't be so traumatic. It's more effortless for you. If it helps you, I'll share something personal. I used to be a smoker. This is not something I'm proud of, but for the majority of my life, when I was, when did I start? I think I was 17 or 16 and a half, 16 and a half, and I quit on September 20th of 2010. So I smoked for a very long time and a lot, and I never picked up another cigarette again after I was hypnotized on September 20th of 2010. And gosh, now it's been 7 years and 2 months. So if I could do it, I know anyone could do it. And I also did it when I was influenced in the 12th house. So just a little bit of advice for you. And I don't know, maybe I could inspire someone by sharing that. I don't really discuss that at all. It's not something I'm proud of. But if I can help anyone, just by sharing it, I think that I did the right thing there. So moving on the 19th, Saturn enters Capricorn. So, yay! Saturn is leaving Sagittarius. Deuces. And he's entering Capricorn, where he can benefit you, through December 17th of 2020. So his next 3-year stay is going to help you save money. Saturn in the 2nd house is the restriction of how much you're spending, By the time he leaves, you will have accumulated better finances, but you will know exactly where your money is going. This Saturn is roots as well as restriction, but he wants to see you plant a steady structure. And in the second house of finances, this will be about where your money is, what you're spending it on, and the budget, what you can really afford to do. And this could see some very strong savings when Saturn is in the second house. On the 21st, the sun leaves your sign, so no more solar return, but now it's Capricorn's turn. From the 19th on, though, your money sector is influenced because the sun enters this sector, and then on the 25th, Venus enters this sector, conjunct Saturn and Pluto. Intense energy in the money earnings department for Sag, and Venus in the second house attracts money. So there's good news for you coming out of holiday. And also Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas, and Happy Holidays for all denominations and everybody who's celebrating in December. Let's get to the cards. I do want to say too, on the 1st, we have our full moon, 1st of January, actually. And this is at 11 degrees of Cancer in the 8th house of intimacy, so there is some kind of closure for Sag. Now, if your marriage is brilliant and there's no rocky bumps and you're not considering a split, this isn't going to come out of nowhere. This is about people who have been considering things aren't working out and assessing the review of the relationship while Saturn's been in the 1st house for you. Having the full moon on the 1st of January in your 8th house of sex and intimacy and shared resources is closure here. It sees Sagittarius put an end to an intimate connection. So I do feel like some of you are moving on from marriages, and that's okay. You're amongst a 60 percentile of people who are doing that, so don't beat yourself up, but just know, learn from your mistakes. Learn, because Saturn's been with you. Don't make these mistakes again. When you see red flags, heed them. Don't try to put squares into circles and make everything fit because you want relationship. Make sure you're in the best relationship for yourself. Okay. He's come up before, and he's been the first card out because it's a Capricorn time. This is the card of Saturn. It's the card of Capricorn. It's totally what I've been talking about. It's the card of limitation and what no longer serves you. And it's about vice, yes, and doing something in excess too much. So get this monkey off your back, Saturn. I feel like Sag. I feel like some of you have a little something that you wish would just go away, but you can't quit it. Could be a relationship. It could be a vice. Let's see what else is here. Oh, yay. Okay, so major arcana cards mean major changes and major developments. So going from the devil to the sun, that's the direction we like. Happiness. This is marriage. Your marriage is on your mind, for those of you who are married. Now, for those of you who aren't, seeing that devil next to the sun, it could be that you think you need to be somewhere you're not right now in life. Like, you might be obsessed, which is also the devil, with being married, with becoming married. Why can't I find my marriage? You have to let that obsession go too. If you want things to beautifully manifest, don't stress out about them and worry them to death, because you could be keeping them from you. If you're so focused on receiving it, it needs the space. It needs the space to come in. Well, the sun in combination with the 10 of Cups is a marriage, and it's a successful one at that. So for some of you who are afraid to give up marriages you're in because you're afraid if you'll find someone else, I'm getting you might not be in the right place right now in connection with someone. It just might be that you are in it because you don't want to make the change. 10 of Cups, though, highest self-fulfillment. Now, some of you are in happy marriages altogether, but starting with this, it means you might be obsessing about something. And maybe you're restricted in your marriage. It's limiting you. Now we're talking about the development of career and The Eight of Coins is your skill set and the mastering of your occupation and promotion and knowing what it is you're good at, knowing where you succeed. You know, your 8th house of shared resources it has that full moon in it, but I'm thinking that this could be a card of confidence in a way of knowing what it is you're good at, knowing your self-worth, knowing you're better than certain circumstances may have you thinking you are. And the star, for those of you who are waiting on promotion and waiting to be received that recognition, what you're due, the fame, the support, this is a beautiful combination for receiving that annual increase, for getting a good review in terms of work by your authorities, but also by yourself. Give yourself a great review, is what I'm getting. Know all of the qualities and the skill sets that you have. And maybe Sagittarius needs to give themselves credit, is what I'm hearing. You have success around you. Gosh, honestly, these are high success cards and emotionally fulfilling cards. The only thing I just don't like is starting with this, but we have to because it's Capricorn season. It's this guy. It's the time to get rid of what's limiting you, what's stifling you, what's keeping you from your highest development of earnings, and what's keeping you from progressing in your path is what that card is coming up to suggest. You know, you have to do your own thinking. People can't do the thinking for you. And I have a feeling that the place you went to when I started talking about the devil is exactly the place that you need to focus on release, because everyone has that quiet, dark place where they're like, ugh, I hope that doesn't come out. You know, I hope no one knows. Maybe you're doing something like smoking behind your spouse's back or something like that. Wherever you went when you saw those cards, I feel like you already know what isn't working for you. But I have faith in Sag. I always do. Thank you for joining me for the forecast. I'm wishing you a beautiful holiday season. And remember, Sagittarius, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.